Hello, everybody. This is Mr. Bowman. Today we're going to be looking at the ALEKS topic, the population standard deviation. So this is not a hard topic. But there's a lot of little steps. So feel free to pause the video at any point if you want to catch up and do it on your own. I highly encourage you to do that. So, and there is a formula for it, but it's very crazy looking. I'll show it to you at the end of the video if you're curious. But I don't like starting there because it looks a lot more intimidating than it really is. So we're going to walk through it step by step and see how this process works. So we have 6 quiz scores that were graded on a 10-point scale. The 10-point scale is entirely unnecessary for finding the standard deviation, but it's good to know that this wasn't out of 100 and everyone just bombed it. So we have 6 scores here. It is an entire population, which is good because your process will change a little bit if you have a sample of the population as opposed to the entire population. We're not going to get into the difference right now. I just want you to know that there is that. So if you look up standard deviation, you might see a slightly different process, and that might be so you need to look for a population standard deviation as opposed to a sample standard deviation. Okay, so first things first, we need to find the average or the mean of those 6 numbers. Okay, so just add them all up, divide by 6, and you're good to go. Now, I did this ahead of time, so the mean of this group is 7. Okay. So then, actually, let's list the steps out over here. So first step is find the mean. Okay. Step 2 is we're going to take that mean and we're actually going to subtract it from each of the numbers. So subtract the mean from each number. Right? So I have 6, 8, 9, 7, 7, and 5 as my numbers. I'm going to subtract my mean, which is 7, from each number. So 7, 7, 7, 7, 7, 7. I'm going to go ahead and actually calculate each of those. So luckily we only have 6 numbers. This gets a little bit crazy if you try and do it with a much larger set. Okay, and you'll see it's a lot of stuff where you have to do it to each number. So 6 minus 7, negative 1. 8 minus 7 is 1. 9 minus 7 is negative 2. 7 minus 7 is 0. And 5 minus 7 is, negative 2. This 9 minus 7 is positive 2. My apologies. All right. So now I have all of my differences. So next step is square each difference. All right. So I'm going to take and square each number here. So I'm going to do negative 1 squared, 1 squared, 0 squared, etc., all the way down. So negative 1 squared is 1. 1 squared is 1. 2 squared is 4. 0 squared is 0. 0 squared is 0. And negative 2 squared is 4. Now, since we did square it, be careful if you are using a calculator because you might have some larger differences later. Make sure that these are all positive. If you didn't, it means you entered it into your calculator incorrectly. So remember, negative 2 times negative 2 would give you a positive 4 with the double negatives. All right, so we squared them all. Now I need to add them all up. Okay, so I want the sum of each of these. So I'm going to add all of those. So 1 plus 1 plus 4 plus 0 plus 4, or 0 plus 4. So that's going to be 8, 9, 10. All right. So that's my new number. So since I have a total here, I'm going to have a little bit quicker steps since I don't have to do it over and over and over again. So I have this 10 as my new step. And I'll label these with these numbers here in a second. So I'm going to take that and divide that by the number of things in my set. So I'm going to do 10 divided by 6 since I had 6 numbers. And I want to not round that if at all possible, so please leave it as a fraction. If you want to reduce it to 5/3, you can, but don't make it a decimal yet, okay? Even if it comes out nicely, it's still a good habit, just leave it alone for the time being, all right? So So divide by the number of objects, so the original amount we had. So there were originally 6 things, just like the number we divided by for the mean there. So I'm going to take that, 10 divided by 6. Then last step is you're going to find the square root of that. And so that's why I didn't want to have it as a decimal, because if I round this, it's going to throw off my square root quite a bit. Okay, so square root your answer, and that is going to be it. You are now done. So let's get what this actually equals. So 10 divided by 6, and then I want the square root of that. It comes out to 1.29, and it says, yeah, 2 decimal places. 1.29 there. Okay. So I'm going to round that there, and that is my standard deviation. Okay, so the standard deviation of the set it's a mean of 7 and a standard deviation of 1.29. All right, so this is the end of the example. I did promise a couple clarifications and to write down the formula for you, so I will do that. So here we found the mean. That was step 1. That was up there. Subtract the mean from each number. So this whole thing here is step 2. Square each difference. Step 3, that's how we got to here. Add them all up. So this was step 4. Divide by the number of objects is step 5, and then take the square root was step 6. So just some labels of following along on each of these: 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, to help line them up later. All right, and the official formula, I'm not going to go through it too much, but since I did promise I'd show it to you, looks like this. So that's the official formula here. So it's pretty much what we did. It just looks crazy with all the symbols. So take each number, subtract it for the mean from it, square all of those. This symbol is a summation symbol, so add them all up, divide by n, take the square root, and you get the standard deviation. Told you, looks crazy, not as bad as it looks. It's just entirely symbolic, which is a little bit intimidating. Okay.